Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making mushroom stroganoff. We're going to serve it with egg noodles, the traditional way, but this is just a vegetarian twist on a classic. I am not following a very vegetarian way of preparing this though, because I'm using chicken broth because it's what I have. You can certainly substitute vegetable broth in order to keep it vegetarian. However, the recipe calls for full fat sour cream, and I don't think that's vegetarian. So, sit back and enjoy. Thanks. I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. While that butter melts, I'm gonna cut up a small sweet onion. It calls for shallots. A small sliced shallot, but I couldn't find those in the grocery store, so I'm gonna use a small sweet onion. To my boiling water, I'm going to add my bowl of egg noodles. Next, I'm going to add 10 ounces of shiitake mushrooms. These are pre-washed and pre-sliced. I bought them like that because I'm lazy. I just can't be bothered to wash mushrooms. Woo. This recipe says you can use baby bellas, shiitakes, oysters, or just plain button white mushrooms, but I really like the texture of the shiitakes. They don't carry them at my Walmart, so I had to go to Food Lion and go inside the store. Y'all know how I don't like that. It was a good experience, and I had very good customer service at the checkout. Those are done. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm going to use my 1/4 cup measure because that's equal to 4 tablespoons. You're gonna cook your flour in the oil that we started in the pan and the juices that came out of the mushrooms so that you can make kind of a roux. And then you're gonna add chicken stock or vegetable broth. And that's what's gonna thicken and make our stroganoff sauce. We're going to add 1½ cups of chicken broth. Probably should have added this sooner, but we're going to add some garlic, not a bunch, because we want the flavor of the mushrooms to shine through. It also calls for a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and that is not vegetarian. That is made with anchovies. I'm going to turn down the heat. It's starting to stick. It calls for 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme. If you only have dry thyme, use it. Two tablespoons of parsley. We're going to reserve a little bit to garnish. So we'll only add 1 tablespoon to the pot. And it calls for 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then freshly ground pepper to your taste. My tastes are a little weird. Pepper's really spicy to me, so I'm not adding a lot. I'm gonna add just a little bit more broth, probably about a 1/4 cup, to thin this out just a little bit. I'll turn the heat off before I add the 1/2 cup of sour cream. The recipe calls to remove it from the heat, so actually I'll slide it over. We'll allow it to cool for just a minute. Now I'll add 1/2 cup of sour cream. I'm gonna serve this up over egg noodles. Let's give it a taste test. The Worcestershire sauce is actually a little overpowering. I don't think I'm gonna add that next time. Overall, after Thanksgiving, having something that doesn't have a lot of meat in it, I enjoy this. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Please like, comment, or subscribe if you feel led to. I appreciate your support. I'll see you next time.